going on a bear hunt. And the latest on a deadly shooting at a Western movie set involving Alec Baldwin and a prop gun. Also, the world's largest Triceratops ever found sells for big bucks.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Missouri's first official black bear hunting season kicks off this week. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, hunters in the Show Me State now have another option when it comes to the types of animals they can hunt. Monday marked the beginning of Missouri's first official bear hunting season. Missouri Department of Conservation says the state's bear population has grown to the point that a hunting season would be beneficial. 400 hunters were drawn at random and are split up into different hunting zones. Missouri officials say this new hunting season is no different than others.
And this is all based on the basic principle of allowing hunters to harvest game, but at the same time not impact the population where it can't recover. That's the way all our hunting seasons are set up. Bear season is no different.
Conservation agents say the increased bear population is good for the state. Not only did it create a new hunting season, but it means the state's biodiversity is growing as well. Supply, shipping, and trucking issues have led to higher prices and empty shelves at stores across the country. A new survey from Oracle says 52% of Americans are responding by getting a head start on their holiday shopping. But 4-staters might be in luck when it comes to keeping the pantry stocked. We reached out to 5 area grocery stores to find out if they're dealing with empty shelves and product shortages. Only Food 4 Less in Joplin says keeping shelves consistently stocked is an issue. Apple Market in Columbus, King Cash Saver in Carthage, Harps in Joplin, and Ron's in Pittsburgh say for the most part their shelves are stocked and they're ready for the holiday rush. Well, we've got rain in the forecast for the weekend and we're keeping an eye on it early.
Well, here's the interesting thing about that, Tanya, because after the morning show I did a little research. It seems to be the general consensus. I, for one, have never been bear hunting. I've never done that. It seems the general consensus is warmer weather and rain. I don't have a rhyme or reason for you, but over the weekend, that's exactly what we're going to have, coincidentally enough. You coming off of that story, talking about bear season opening. And not only that, we're going to last that pretty much all through the middle of next week. Like I said, I would love to give you a rhyme or reason. I don't know why. This is just from reading about a whole lot of bear hunters and what they say is the best time. A warm front combined with rain. Well, guess what, folks? We're going to be in luck this weekend. Live look over the mothership where our temperatures have risen a good 30 degrees since this morning. We sit at 65 in Joplin, 67 in Parsons, 62 in Nevada. Let's roll another 65 in Miami. Skywatch Storm Tracker has been extremely clear all morning long. We see this one down in OKC. No, that's really not going to affect us. That's going to ride I-40. What we'll do is turn our attention out to the central portion of Kansas because our thunderstorm activity will move in from west to east today, almost following the jet stream. Now, as far as what we're going to have for the afternoon and evening hours, absolutely no worries at all, up into the mid-70s, but then late tonight, early tomorrow morning, that's when it begins to develop. And when it does, we're going to see some portions of heavy rain, specifically through the central portion of the 4 states. We will get the lightning, the thunder, and anywhere from 2.5 to 3 inches on Saturday alone. Now, like I said, our temperature's warming up. Look at that front that rolls in. Talking about highs close to 80 on Saturday and Sunday, leading us up into the 80s till the middle of next week where we finally get some October-like temperatures. Coming up here in just a little bit, Tanya, let's number 1, break down our high school football kickoff forecast. Number 2, break down those rain totals in anticipation of tomorrow morning.
There you go. A lot to talk about. Thanks, Michael. The FBI says human remains found in a wildlife area outside of Sarasota, Florida belong to Brian Laundrie. He was the sole person of interest in the disappearance and death of his fiancée, Gabby Petito. The FBI used dental records to confirm Laundrie's identity. The remains, as well as a backpack and notebook believed to belong to Laundrie, were discovered Wednesday in an area the FBI says was underwater during earlier searches. 23-year-old Laundrie was reported missing more than a month ago, 2 weeks after returning home alone to Florida from a cross-country road trip with his fiancée, Gabby Petito. Petito's family reported her missing September 11th. Just over a week later, her body was located near Wyoming's Grand Teton National Park, which the couple had visited together. The coroner said Petito died of strangulation and her body had been in that spot for up to a month. Investigators in New Mexico say one person was killed and another injured when actor Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun on the Western movie set for the upcoming film Rust. He has not been charged with a crime. Detectives questioned Baldwin after yesterday's shooting and then released him. The movie's cinematographer, 42-year-old Helena Hutchins, died in the incident. Director Joel Sousa was treated at a hospital for unspecified injuries. Production on the film has been halted. Britain's Queen Elizabeth is home after spending one night at a London hospital. The 95-year-old monarch underwent tests on Wednesday after canceling a scheduled trip to Northern Ireland at the request of her doctors. Charlie Daggett has more from Windsor Castle.
Well, palace sources tell us the Queen is in good spirits, she's in good health, she's resting and undertaking what they're describing as some light duties. The 95-year-old monarch has been seen using a cane or a walking stick for the first time in public for many years. Her last public engagement was on Tuesday, hosting global investors, including Bill Gates. Now, the very next day, she was taken to a London hospital. It now turns out she stayed overnight. For whatever reason, the palace chose to keep that quiet. But after British tabloids broke the story, the palace had to come clean, issuing a statement yesterday saying the Queen attended hospital on Wednesday afternoon for some preliminary investigations, returning to Windsor Castle at lunchtime today. Palace sources tell us the Queen intends to return to normal duties as of next week. As for whether she's going to attend the Global Climate Summit in Glasgow later this month, we were told, well, we hope so. Charlie Daggett, CBS News, Windsor, England.
The palace did not reveal what prompted the trip to the hospital, but said it was not COVID related. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, Big John is headed home after an anonymous collector from America shells out some serious cash for the world's largest Triceratops. And later, we're making pumpkin patch pancakes in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. An American collector shelled out nearly $8 million to buy a rare dinosaur skeleton. The huge herbivore went under the hammer in Paris. CBS's Ian Lee takes us there.
They call him Big John, and it's easy to see why. He's the world's largest Triceratops skeleton.
The history behind this and the curation of it is absolutely impressive.
Big John went for some big bucks at an auction in Paris on Thursday. $7.7 million. 5 times the expected price.
For a triceratops and for an herbivore, this is unbelievable record.
Paleontologists dug him up back in 2014. The mammoth dino comes in at 23 feet long, 8 feet high, with a massive skull and 3-foot horns. Big John roamed modern-day South Dakota more than 66 million years ago, so it might be fitting that he's going home.
It's being acquired by an American collector, and that individual is absolutely thrilled with the idea of being able to bring a piece like this to his personal use.
Big John's anonymous buyer will now get all 200 pieces of him and hopefully instructions on how to put them back together. Ian Lee, CBS News.
The most expensive dinosaur ever sold was a T-Rex that went for $32 million last year in New York. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If pumpkin pancakes made from scratch sounds like a good way to start your weekend, then you're in the right place at the right time.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Tell you what, we got ourselves a good old-fashioned log jam there at 7th and Rangeline. Traffic just kind of piling up is what it has been doing. Please be safe when you're out and about because it's going to be a great Friday to do it. However, if you've got Saturday or Sunday plans, let's think about perhaps postponing them. Current conditions over 7th and Range Line in Joplin. Yesterday, our high at Joplin Regional Airport only clocked in at 63 degrees, and now here we stand at the noon hour already at 65, and we've got another probably 7-8 degrees to go on top of that. Thank goodness our humidity finally calmed down, got rid of that patchy fog that we had earlier this morning. Temperatures ranging anywhere from about 61 to 67, and so it's been very, very delightful. And like I said, we haven't even hit that peak heating hour. You may remember our 24-hour temperature change from yesterday was a minus 21. Now, about 10 degrees warmer. That cold front slowly progressing down to the southeast, and our Skywatch storm tracker has remained very clear. So here's exactly what's going on and why the cold front's been able to move. Jet stream in the trough creeping down toward the Ohio River Valley, and that's why the colder temperatures push up toward the Great Lakes. And you'll notice we're slotted right here. Even though this comes off of the deep north, we get slotted with a couple of warm fronts, and what that also does is allow moisture up from the Gulf. So that means two things. Number one, our temperatures are going to warm up as we head toward the weekend. That increases the instability. That creates the thunderstorms that will have the cold front now that we encountered 48 hours ago squarely just over the Atlantic. As far as what we're looking at nationally, not a whole lot of action. You can tell right here where it looks like it's stalled out, it will continue to press down. They'll actually have some October temperatures for once. It's been abnormally warm throughout the southeast, just like it has been for us in the Midwest. While really everybody up to us out to the West Coast, they've been kind of normal for this time of year, whether it be temperature, whether it be precipitation wise. This isn't very nice for the contiguous 48 because the watches and warnings for right now, I mean, pretty mundane, not a whole lot of action. That's going to be subject to change. As we push into the afternoon hours, sunny skies, mild temps, just a little southwest breeze. And let's talk about our high school football kickoff forecast. These are our temperatures indicated on your right-hand side, about 7 o'clock around kickoff, anywhere from about, say 59 to 65. Can't beat it, clear skies, not going to be breezy. And for you parents that are traveling back and forth and you kiddos traveling back and forth, you better not be watching me, you better be in school. As a matter of fact, your parents can pass this along to you. Very, very pristine weather conditions. That was for my daughter, as a matter of fact. That's exactly what that was for Tanya. Sometimes she'll text me, she'll be like, I heard you said this during the noon. I'm like, you better be in school. Future track for us though, let's talk about tonight into tomorrow morning. Formulation from that moisture and that instability comes out to the west. As it develops and presses through, very heavy rain, especially on this band through the central portion of the 4 states. 2.5, 3 inches easily by the time we get into Sunday. Because even though Saturday afternoon we begin to calm down, Sunday we shift. Everything comes in southwest wise. Not as heavy rain, high winds. That's going to be our problem for Sunday because this is the severe thunderstorm risk map for Saturday into Sunday. Winds not so bad. I want to show you this one. This is Saturday into Sunday evening, okay? That's why we see the elevated portion right there. Wind is going to be an extreme factor here over the weekend. We're going to keep on warming up, Tanya. Therein lies our problem. We need October temperatures to roll back around like they will on Wednesday and Thursday. But until we can get down to the 60s, the fact that 78, 75, 82 does not help us on the severe factor. Everybody enjoy your Fridays. Very, very careful beginning Saturday morning.
Yes, be very careful. A lot going on out there.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Private First Class Bob Bigando in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Scammon, Kansas, joined the 82nd Engineer Pipeline Company in 1951. He fought in South Korea, earning the Korean War Service Medal. To Private Bob Bigando, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Well, if you haven't jumped on the pumpkin spice train, now is your chance. Today, Howard shows us an easy way to include the favorite fall flavor on your weekend breakfast table. We're making pumpkin patch pancakes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
This is the time of year as we head into the weekend that our to-do list seems to get longer and longer. You know, we want to get out and do some yard work, get a jump start on our holiday shopping, and get in as many errands as possible. So to make the most of this weekend, we came up with a fill you up fall recipe that'll jumpstart your weekend. They're from scratch pumpkin pancakes that are to die for. In a large bowl, we combine some flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and a bit of salt. We set that aside, and then in another bowl, we whisk together some eggs with milk, melted butter, and a splash of vanilla. Then we add a good amount of pumpkin pie filling and mix it until it's smooth. Once our dry ingredients get stirred in, onto the griddle they go. I only wish you could smell these. Slather on some syrup and a bit of butter, and talk about heavenly. Whether you make them regular size for us grown-ups or silver dollar size for the kids, everyone will love the cozy pumpkin flavor in every bite. So here's what I suggest. Visit our website and get the recipe for pumpkin patch pancakes. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a pumpkin lover's way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Well, Tanya and I were going to have some fun to get out of here on the... Ah, there it is! I saw the swings. There it is. We're going to have some fun with the magnified large bug that was on the 7th and Rangeline tower cam there. He's a little camera shy, evidently. Hey, tonight's going to be great. No worries. But remember, I want everybody to be weather aware beginning early tomorrow morning. Heavy thunderstorm activity. Anywhere in between 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain for the central portion of the 4 states. And even though you see that little break right there from Saturday into Sunday, while not as widespread, that's where we have the threat of the higher winds.
This is what happens the day after a full moon. Remember this morning you sent Marcus outside to check out for the birds?
I did. Werewolves of London.
All right, well, coming up tonight at 5, the National Retail Federation predicts Halloween spending will reach more than $10 billion this year, an all-time high. Much of that money will be spent on costumes. We're going to look at which ones are topping the list. Plus, Freeman hospital officials talk about the shortage of employees in the healthcare field, and local residents take a spin on the pottery wheel. Join us for those stories and much more on the KOAM News at 5. We'll be right back here at 5.